Let's go to Ukraine. William talked about here impeachment hearings, and that the impeachment process may be one of those factors that could dramatically impact economic conditions and the markets. Before the swearing in of Donald Trump, Democrat charges that Russian involvement in the U.S. election caused the win of President Trump and stole it from Hillary Clinton began to circulate way back. We know that. Now we know the story, how it grew and grew as the bureaucratic deep state attacked one Trump administration person after another. We've seen the shameless end with a disgraced Mueller report and not true evidence, awaiting prosecution. Now we're waiting to see what will happen by those who were a part of this mastermind. And CIA mastermind, and I'm going to make sure you know it, Islam convert John Brennan, yes indeed, and co-conspirator Jim Comey as the designers and implementers of this grand scheme to remove a legitimately elected president. Now the saga moves to Ukraine and a phone call between President Trump to the newly elected president of Ukraine and the now unconstitutional impeachment hearings underway in the House, led by Democrat majority. Once again, same line, an attempt to show how President Trump is aiding Russia when, in fact, I submit the exact opposite is true. Yesterday, I call your attention to an article that appeared in the New York Times by Anton Troianvosky. It was a Reuters article. It was a key article. I want to call it out to you. This is the beginning of it. This came from Ukraine in an interview in Ukraine that was picked up New York Times yesterday. It said this in part. In the last 5 years, more than 13,000 people have died in a de facto war between Ukraine and Russia, a fight many say here to shake off the shackles of a colonial master, meaning Russia, and to move closer to the West. Now, there's a billionaire who was involved in that, Ihor Kolomoisky, who spent millions of dollars to field and equip fighters there on the front between Russia and Ukraine some years ago in 2014 in an effort to help stop the Russian advance. Now, 2014, if you recall, was the Obama administration era. The article goes on to say, but Mr. Kolomoisky, widely seen as Ukraine's most powerful figure outside government, given his role as the patron of the recently elected President Zelensky, so this individual is somewhat connected and supportive of the new Ukraine president to whom President Trump spoke, and the Democrats are saying was in a quid pro quo, and because of that, President Trump, they say, was making a deal with Ukraine to withhold aid to Ukraine, and therefore making them susceptible to Russia. And the Democrats are saying because of this, which is not true, by the way, that the president is proof that he's supporting Russia back to their same old line. Okay, now, this is interesting. This billionaire, Mr. Kolomoisky, said this. He's had an experience, he said, and a remarkable change of heart. It is time, he said, for Ukraine to give up on the West and to turn back to Russia. He says, they're stronger, Russia, are stronger anyway. We have to improve our relations, he said, comparing Russia's power to that of Ukraine. People want peace, a good life. We don't want to be at war. And you, get this now, and you, America, are forcing us to be at war and not even giving us the money for it. And he went on and said this about the impeachment hearings. This is this billionaire, most influential person in Ukraine outside the president and government officials, was funding the Ukrainian soldiers to oppose Russia back in 2014 and so forth, when in fact the Obama administration refused to give them any money whatsoever to help them. And that's exact truth. He says, this individual, about the impeachment hearings now gripping Washington, he said this is the last straw. And he spoke in blunt terms about the logic of embracing Russia as a partner. He said it's become clear that the European Union and NATO will never take in Ukraine, he said. So it would be best for us to accept reality and not even try. He said, you won't take us in to the West, to NATO, to Europe, United States. You won't take us in. There's no use in us wasting time on empty talk, whereas Russia would love to bring us into a new Warsaw Pact. And I won't go into everything else here, but you get the idea. Because of what the Obama administration would not do, and that is give aid to Ukraine during the Obama administration, individuals having to step up and help pay for support on the front line, this man being one of them, but the European Union and NATO and the United States under that time not giving aid to Ukraine now brings us to this point where they are in a no man's land. They need money. They have asked for it, and they're not giving it. And now the impeachment hearings are coming forward, and he and they are saying is absolute proof that even the United States is not going to stand with Ukraine. And this individual has encouraged the president to do exactly what President Trump suggested to do, and that is clean up your own act there and find out where the corruption has been occurring over the past. If it goes to Biden and his sons, it goes there. Anyways, I've taken up most of this segment, but ladies and gentlemen, you need to look at that article, New York Times. This is going to be bigger news. This is very critical what is happening. The impeachment hearings underway in D.C. right now are absolutely driving Ukraine into the arms of Russia. And who wins at the end of all of this? The American people are divided. The Democrat deep state are undermining the Constitution, making a joke out of the justice system. They are. And rather than saying that Russia is working with Trump and Trump is working with Russia, they're proving that they, the Democrat deep state, are in fact aiding and abetting a stronger Russia, and they don't care about what's happening here in this country or what's happening to the American people. And as this individual is saying, if it does not change soon, why shouldn't we just go to the arms of Russia? At least they want us. The European Union and the money there, which belongs to George Soros, has over the last years been attempting to take Ukraine and say, we'll give you money, but you've got to change your loyalty. You've got to change your constitution. And as Obama said, and why he held Ukraine's support and military aid under the Obama administration, get this, Obama administration told Ukraine, and it's a proven fact, if you don't work in LGBTQ and abortion into your constitution, we won't give you aid. That was the deal under the Obama administration. That is what ought to be a subject of the hearings in Washington today. And with that, don't generally do this, but made the entire segment listening to me, but this is something we needed to know. I wanted to share it with you. It's a big, big issue, what is taking place. And ultimately, the direction we're going aids Russia and hurts America.